Welcome, everybody, to I Know What You Watched Last Week. And this is a special episode because it's our 50th episode.
Joe, we didn't discuss beforehand who's going to introduce the episode, and looking back, you'll see me go,
Well, you were taking too long. And yet I did see your what reaction when I started talking, which is your usual reaction when I start talking.
After this will be done, reviewed 150 movies for your viewing pleasure, mostly horror.
Mostly.
Let's forget about the time that Corin made me watch Princess Diaries and review it. What the hell were we thinking?
So we went with a special
What were we
theme
thinking?
again for this
The
episode.
50th.
What the hell is that? That's like 5555.
That was 25.
That's so stupid. Okay, so do you...
Well, you ruined my intro, so I've got to get in the little bits that I've now missed out.
What was the theme of the movies this week?
Cabin horror.
Yeah, I was going to say...
Horrors of the cabin.
Creepy cabins.
Horrors in the cabin. Yeah.
Cabins.
Take your pick.
Cabin.
Mm.
Yeah, so
These movies are the cabin crew.
In order, we watched Cabin in the Woods,
Yeah.
Cabin Fever, and Evil Dead.
Yes, The Evil Dead. The original.
Yeah.
From 82. Sam Raimi's Evil Dead.
Mm.
So, let's hear your ranking on this 50th I Know What You Watched Last Week special.
Yeah.
Although we've done actually really nothing special for it. I just picked some cabin movies.
But they're great movies.
That's special enough.
Finally, we actually have 3 pretty superb watches. And I know some people are going to get really butthurt by my rankings.
My God, it is so hot.
Some people are going to get really upset by my rankings.
Sounds like me.
And it was quite difficult, actually, for me to rank these. But I'm going with 3rd place, Cabin in the Woods.
Thank the Lord. Thank Beelzebub below.
2nd place, The Evil Dead. And 1st place for me is Cabin Fever.
1 second. Hello, divorce lawyer. Yes, irreconcilable differences. Thank you.
Yeah, people are going to hate on me after this.
My ranking is the only ranking, the correct ranking. I almost said wanking there.
Of course you did.
Cabin in the Woods, bottom. Cabin Fever, 2nd. Evil Dead. King on top. Le Grand Pumba. Yeah. So let's go in your order for once. And we'll start with the first watch of the week. The most recent movie, in terms of time, across these dimensions. Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
Starring Thor. Thor's in it.
We have seen this.
Of course
once
we've seen
before?
it. No, I've seen this at least...
Well, I mean...
I don't know, this is probably my 5th time.
You don't
5th
count.
and last,
This would probably... I think it's my 2nd time watching
I
it.
wouldn't have watched it again if it wasn't for the Cabin special.
I don't get that. I think this was... I don't know why I didn't have better recollections from the first time watch, because the 2nd time we watched it, which is this time...
Is it really only
for
the
me-
one time that you've seen it?
Yeah.
I thought we'd seen it at least 3 times with you, something like that.
No,
Yeah, I thought
we
it was a
watched it
multiple
once
watch.
together, and this was the 2nd watch, and I didn't remember how funny some parts of it were. I mean, forget all the bits that are actually in the cabin.
No crisp apple this week, just pure sparkling water.
But the two...
With lemon slice, of course. I'm not an
Fascinating,
animal.
John. This is so interesting. The 2 guys who are in the, HQ lab
Bradley Whitford
area...
and some other dude.
Their little offhand conversations...
Richard Jenkins.
...are so funny.
Yes, in the opening we had the 2 office workers played by Bradley Whitford and Richard Jenkins. And Richard Jenkins and him are discussing Mr. Whitford's...
Oh, no, okay.
Mr. Whitford's female problems. And it kind of just goes on like an unimportant conversation, just office life conversation. And then we get the opening title, which is a bit strange. But that's what I enjoy about the movie, I guess.
Yeah, this is like some... So it's funny, it's, I guess, horror, and it's kind of sci-fi, isn't it?
Basically what we're saying, Whitford and Mr. Jenkins, they have great chemistry, don't they?
They
actually
steal
seem
the
like they
entire
actually
movie.
have worked together for 15, 20 years
Because
or something.
I'm not gonna lie, the like
Don't
crew,
lie.
the crew that go to the cabin,
What, Thor?
they're fine. Like, they do what needs to be done.
But it's Thor.
But
Would you have preferred Iron Man?
There's no. Yes, I would actually.
Would you have preferred
There's
George
no
Clooney's
standout.
Batman?
No, there's no standout in
He
any
has
of them.
bat nips. You haven't seen it, have you? But sorry, I got confused. I got just distracted by George Clooney's bat nipples. So not Iron Man, not George Clooney's Batman.
I
but
said yes,
Thor.
Iron Man.
So Robert Downey. Imagine Robert Downey Jr. in the Thor role in this.
Yeah, I prefer Robert Downey to Chris Hemsworth.
He's a bit older.
Either way, at least he's like in my opinion,
What
a
about
very watchable
Spawn?
actor. Can we stick with the movie at hand, please?
Hey, this is the 50th special. Anything goes.
Anyway, yeah, so this group of, nondescript characters.
Nondescript. I mean, you've got, the virgin, the tempting girl, the jock, the serious guy, and the stoner.
Actually, I did like the stoner guy.
I was about to say, did you not like the shaggy type stoner?
He was definitely the best.
He's the highlight of
He was,
the cast.
yeah,
So it's
100%.
good because obviously
Of that group,
I assume
anyway.
a lot of people would have seen this. So at the end of the movie, it's basically him and the good girl. I believe her character's name is Dana. They're the last two survivors of the movie. And I was thinking, I guess she's the lead girl because she goes on longest. She's the final girl. And she was kind of throwaway. It doesn't really matter which girl it would have been, really, does it? But the stoner guy at least worked with what he had, if I can say that.
Yeah.
But
The
he
stoner
does
guy
generate
was-
some good laughs.
Yeah,
He
the
does.
stoner guy, I liked what he did with his performance.
Yeah, like especially the Pop-Tarts bit.
It's very much, yes. I guess the performance is like, to be fair, there's only, I guess, a certain amount you can really do with it because all the
It's
characters.
his cabin in the woods.
It's your standard
Everyone
type.
was fine.
You just said
Everyone was absolutely fine. But
everyone's
yeah,
used-
the stoner guy kind of elevates it. If he didn't have a guy
I
chewing the
find,
scenery,
like the final girl character, she's just so like throwaway. There was nothing about her that was like, oh, I really want her to survive. It was, yeah.
yeah, let's not forget the first time we see her. And Thor's turned up in his truck with his girlfriend, the blonde, and I think also the good guy. And we just see, I believe again, I'm going to call her Dana, the good girl, the lead girl, and she's just in. You know how ladies in real life, they're on the top floor of an apartment building, and there's these giant windows which come down like below the knees almost. And the ladies, they just walk around in like tiny tops and really small panties,
Well,
so that
this
we can all see
is
them
a
through the
horror
window.
movie. And we find out that the girlfriend, Chris Hemsworth's girlfriend, has just dyed her hair blonde.
So are you just used to that now? Like you don't even want to comment on it more? No.
No, it's just, I mean,
It's just panties.
it would be more shocking if we didn't see a girl walking around in panties in a horror movie, to be honest. So yeah, they drive up, they collect everyone, and they're going on a trip to stay in some remote...
Is it really a horror movie without panties anymore?
I don't know. Is it really? That's a question for the ages. They're going on a trip. Apparently it's Chris Hemsworth's cousin's cabin,
Yeah, they want to get off the grid.
supposedly.
Yeah.
But way later in the movie, it turns out he doesn't even have a cousin. So, yeah.
Let's get back to the office workers. It turns out that they, when the guys take off to the cabin in their truck, camera pans to a guy on the roof and he's, spying on them. And then it goes again to the control room and people start to place bets about these new people that they've got in to play, not a game, just to be in a situation that is needed to appease the gods of above.
Well, they're below.
Or below, yeah. I did write below.
Yeah.
The hand was above.
So essentially, once they get to this cabin, they've gone through like some tunnel thing to get there, and they're at this cabin, and
You just missed out a bit about going through the tunnel. So
Did I?
they're driving there. They
Something
drive through the
interesting?
tunnel, and we see a bird. No, I'm just going to say an eagle
Right.
flies in between this canyon, and it's electrocuted on an invisible electric fence. And I was just
Yeah.
thinking about that because the electric fence comes back later. We already know that it exists within 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
I felt like it could have just done without that. It would have been more of a surprise when our hero Thor gets on his bike and then drives into it. You know what's coming.
Maybe, but it could also be that it's a prop to sort of set up the fact that this control room has ultimate control.
Yeah, you still don't need that because you're aware that they have ultimate control just with the amount of equipment that they have and
To me,
how high tech this place looks.
It seemed
and
like
how much money's gone
a
into
sort
it.
of Hunger Games meets, you know, that Simpsons episode where they get that bubble over the city and
That's
they
the
can't
movie.
leave. Oh, is it the movie?
Simpsons movie, yeah.
Okay, the movie. Yeah, so it was that kind of thing. But anyway, they get to this cabin. Oh yeah, and also
Hang on. Look. You are really you love to skip.
Yeah, because I don't find like everything is that important or interesting.
This is very important, right? When they get into said truck, when everybody, the whole gang is here, you know, the stoner turns up in his own car, by the way, we haven't even talked about that. And he's got his bong, which he
Oh yeah, it's a coffee
collapses
cup
down into a thermos.
That's it.
Yeah. See, you're missing very important things. And what's also important is before they go through the tunnel and all this and are on their way closer
You're right, actually,
to the
this is
cabin,
important.
where do we get to? Because we've read about a movie in the cabin, and it's a horror film, and we got 5 guys and girls all together on a road trip. They've got to stop off at a local gas station / convenience store with a surly owner / clerk.
And this is the one I believe where
They've got to do it.
It's
You have to do it.
It's so clearly closed. There is a closed sign. There is no human presence.
And of course, what do they
and
need?
yet they're like, oh, let's go inside.
They need directions as they tell to the tobacco chewing surly owner.
Yeah, and he's not very nice to the blonde girl either.
No.
Calls her a
To
whore.
Thor's
and stuff.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
And what's he thinking? He's going to hammer him with that big hammer thing that he has.
And we find out from the control room as well that this is supposed to be like a warning sign. You know, it's not our fault that this group of teens have decided to just ignore the warning sign of a creepy old gas station attendant.
That's the point of the movie. It's almost like parody. It's, you know, they're running all the cliches. They're doing it on purpose with some added stuff which is, I guess, kind of original.
Well, I have to say it's so obvious, but I did enjoy the bit where obviously the gas station attendant works with the company that's organising this whole thing, and he calls the 2 guys in the
I feel like
room.
you're getting ahead again because we've got other things that come before
Well,
this.
I might as well mention it. It doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah.
So
His name is Mordecai, by the way.
okay,
The gas station attendant Mordecai.
calls the like 2 control room people, and they obviously don't want to answer. But
Bradley
in the
Whitford.
end, one of them answers.
Mr. Jenkins.
And he has him on speakerphone.
Bradley.
And Mordecai is being really serious and like, yes, I've done my job kind of thing. And all of a sudden he's like, wait,
The rat has left the nest.
have you got me on speakerphone? That's not cool, man. You got to tell me when I'm on speakerphone. And it's a whole joke that goes on.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, I don't dislike it. I certainly laughed the first time I saw it, but now I know what's coming. Yeah. It's kind of stuff was laughed, but yes, still good.
Not like literally none of this movie stuck in my head for some reason. So
Before we get to this point,
it was basically the first time.
as I was saying,
Okay, yeah.
after they go through the cave tunnel and the bird is flown into the electric fence, where do they arrive at? Not just a cabin, an extremely Evil Dead cabin.
Yeah, I mean, all the cabins in these 3 movies are basically interchangeable.
Because
from the outside,
because there's an
anyway.
originator, and everyone else copies. But let's stick to this. And our group quickly split up, and they're choosing rooms. And there's a very ominous painting covering a part of the wall. Lady, our lead girl, doesn't like it.
No, it's the guy. It's the guy that she's trying to be set up with. She's in the other room. The guy is like, nope, and takes the painting
You
down.
are correct, sir.
And we see it. It's one of those
Perv mirrors. It's a
That's
perv
the official
mirror.
name of it. A
Two-way
perv
mirror.
Yeah.
AKA the perv mirror.
So the girl, the brunette lead girl, is checking herself out in the mirror.
I thought she was more redheaded.
Either way, and the dude that she's being
The
set
good
up
guy.
with, can see her after taking the painting down.
Yeah. She's
And-
about to take her top off and stuff
Yeah,
like this.
he has like a
but
crisis of what's the word?
morality.
Yeah, he has a
Yeah.
moral crisis, but in the end, he knocks on the wall and like basically tells
Because
everyone.
she's lucked out here because he's the good guy.
He is a good
So
guy.
of course he's not going to look. So he goes and tells her that, yeah, look, it's a two-way mirror. The whole gang go into the room like, oh, this is creepy. Blah 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 blah. And of course, good guy's like, hey, let's switch rooms just because it might make you more comfortable.
Yeah, and what I love about this is that they do switch rooms, and within 2 seconds, knowing that, you know, she's obviously right there, he starts undressing,
You
and I was
love the
like, he's
obvious
doing that
joke,
on
yeah.
purpose. He's so doing... That wasn't funny, that was just...
Hear that? It wasn't funny.
Well, I didn't
Okay,
think
it's
that was a
not funny.
joke. That was just, you know...
You think it's just like reflecting reality that women are bigger pervs than men?
No, it's the man being the perv by showing himself off, knowing that she has no choice
He's being
but
more
to
of a
see at this
flamingo,
point.
you know, a show off.
Yeah,
Look
exactly.
At me.
Look at my abs. Look
That's
at this.
different to being a perv, I'd say.
And
but
yeah,
that's a conversation for another time.
She does put the you know, painting back up and then covers it, so she's not a total perv.
It's not long after this that then the camera goes to the stoner guy's room, and I believe that's the point where it's shown obviously that the guys in the control room are looking over our 5 cabin visitors. Yeah, so then you've already gone to it. We then got the Mordecai phone call when it goes back into the room. Then what do we get? We know we've already had the convenience store, gas station, surly attendant scene. Now we go to a real Camp Crystal Lake style jetty and all get into the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you
that's...
enjoy Thor, you know, muddying around, throwing his girlfriend into the pool and being a jock without his hammer?
Yeah, I mean, it was just... I haven't actually seen any of the Thor movies, so... You keep calling him Thor, but
well,
just Chris Hemsworth.
To you, he's Chris Hemsworth. To everybody else, he's Thor.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine.
Do you
say
prefer him with the shaven head or the locks of Thor, the god of thunder?
Yeah, I'm really picky about which guys should have long hair. And I guess he can get away with it. I mean, he is very handsome.
He's Thor.
But I'd still choose short. Thanks for that fascinating question. And I gave you my answer. Now,
yes.
Moving on.
So we've had the Jason scene. Now we're back into control room, and everyone starts to take. We're now seeing the entire work staff starting to take bets. I'm like, what are they taking bets on? It's like, oh, how are these people in the cabin going to die?
Yeah.
And my favourite bit about the whole thing is, I believe it's Richard Jenkins' character says something along the lines of, of course we expect that for maintenance, they're the least creative gamblers in the entire workforce.
Yeah, because both maintenance apparently just puts their bet on the same
the buttons
thing every single time, and the intern, I believe it is, decides to put his money on the same thing. And then it's not long after this, we're back in the cabin in like the living room area, and the blonde girl is being a bit of a hoe.
We're playing Truth or Dare first.
Okay.
Yeah, Truth or Dare.
She makes out with the head of a wolf on the wall, which is pretty gross.
The stoner says, I dare you to make out with that moose over there. Like, dude, you think that's a moose? Whatever that is. And her, the bad girl, the naughty girl,
the blonde girl,
sexual girl, the blonde, of course, making out with this wolf face, which is mounted to the wall, is just very bizarre. And what's even more bizarre is that Thor is really into it. He's like, oh, yeah, baby.
Well, again,
that thing must be filthy.
I don't think I've
What if someone else had made out with it?
What do you mean?
Before her.
Well, you think this is a common thing? People go to this cabin and make out with a wolf
she's
on the
doing
wall?
it. I've got one representation of what happens here at this cabin. And 100% of the time, there's a lady making out with a mounted wolf face. So I've got to suspect that it happened before as well.
Well, that's dumb. But anyway, we do find out that, because the control room people kind of mention in passing that they laced the blonde girl's hair dye.
Are you just going to skip over the fact that Thor likes it?
No, I'm
and the rest of the guys
Would you let me just say my piece here? We've been told that the blonde girl's hair dye was laced with something to make her, like, sluttier and stupid. And further down the line, we find out that supposedly the stoner's weed was supposed to have been spiked. So we basically know that they've done stuff to try and control the behaviour of each of these individuals. And we also hear later, like, I think it's the stoner guy saying, like, since when is Chris Hemsworth, like, such a jock? He's, on a scholarship or whatever, as if that means you can't be a jock. So clearly the blonde girl and Chris Hemsworth are both acting out of character. So when the blonde girl is being all, like, basically lap dancing on the two other guys and Chris Hemsworth is loving it, we find out that that's not really what they would usually be like.
That's not really his character, apparently, but he wasn't acting too different at the beginning.
No, I know.
When we see the girl in her panties in the window.
Plus, he just looks like that kind of person, doesn't he?
Without his long locks, yeah.
Well, with the long locks, he doesn't look like a drunk
Well, with
guy.
the long locks, he looks like the god of thunder, Thor.
Right.
And right after this, what happens? A trapdoor from the floor flings itself
trapdoors
open.
are, yeah.
Now, where have I seen this? Where have I seen this before? Oh yeah, Evil Dead. Evil Dead, of course. Of course I saw it in that.
Yes.
And they dare, because they're still playing Truth or Dare, they dare the final girl, Dana, still calling her Dana, to go into the basement.
Yeah.
The
But they all
dark,
end up down there.
unseen
I don't
basement.
it's unimportant that she goes down there on a dare because they all end up down there and they all find like an object that interests them. And at this point, so Dana...
Everyone's snooping around.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff down there. And
You enjoy snooping in horror movies. You know, like House of Wax, remember that one?
Yeah, that doesn't annoy me at all. But anyway, Dana finds a diary. Chris Hemsworth finds a very, like, puzzle box...
Yes, a puzzle
Hellraiser
box.
type thing, but it's a circle. The other girl, what does blonde girl find?
I know there's a book, like you said.
But the weirdest one is that one of the guys, the guy that's like, you know, the good guy that's supposed to be set up with Final Girl, he is apparently most interested in a music box with a ballerina on
There's
it.
a diary. There's the one-armed girl's diary as well. Is that what you're thinking of?
No.
Jewelry, yeah, like you said.
The diary is just the diary for the family, Johnny.
No, the diary is of the girl who has one arm
Yeah,
of the
that's
Butner family.
Yeah,
who
that's what
comes.
the Final Girl finds.
Mm-hmm.
I've already mentioned that. You're way behind.
Before you said book, not diary.
I said diary. Anyway,
That's all right.
do you not
then.
find it
That's all
strange
right, then.
that guy apparently was most fascinated by a music box with a ballerina on it? Is that what you would be gravitating towards?
No, I'd definitely just ignore that.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking the whole time. I was like,
I probably wouldn't even go down
bit
there.
strange, but okay.
Actually,
And
I
of
would.
course,
I completely
Final
would.
Girl starts reading out the diary, which is of the one-armed girl. Yeah. And she's talking about how her whole family is, like, sadistic and how someone gets a bulge as a husband does when he offs people or something along those lines.
And of course, Stoner guy, he's like, stop reading this thing. Stop reading it. Especially when she gets to the Latin part. He's like, don't read the Latin part. Of course, because we've seen this before. Yeah, we also have lots of whoosh, kind of whispering. The whispering starts. Where have I seen the whispering in the cabin before? It will come to me. Yeah, the whispering starts in this cabin movie now as well, and the whispers are shown to be, you know, put into the cabin by the people in the control room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does baffle me a bit when people do stuff like this in a horror movie. Like, why is she reading out the Latin part when clearly no one speaks Latin? What's the point? It's
Well,
so
she
dumb.
can read Latin, it seems. She's reading it.
Well, anyone
and
can
it
read
works.
Latin. It's letters on a page.
Yeah, but can you pronounce it properly?
There is no
That's
proper
the real
pronunciation of
question.
Latin because no one knows what the pronunciation was.
So I can just be like, and that's me talking Latin.
Yeah, essentially.
I speak Latin.
Well, you can't.
I just proved it. By your standards.
No, you still have to... Never mind. Moving on.
Yeah.
So at this point, obviously, the control room people, like, you know, the staff, their bet is over because they know at this point that it's the Butners.
Before we see their bet is over, or
gonna
maybe
kill
just
them.
at the same time, we're also made aware that simultaneously in Japan, they're having their own, you know, sacrificial cabin in the woods type game, but in their own style. And it's a bunch of...
In a school.
Yeah, a bunch of schoolgirls, I believe, and it's one ring type monster floating in the air.
A ghost.
And
Yeah.
the American bunch are concerned that the Japanese lot haven't done their job yet, haven't ended it. And then Richard Jenkins' character says, well, don't worry, they're Japanese. What do you expect them to do? Relax?
Yeah.
Cliche, stereotypical joke. But, you know, pound for pound, they're outworking us. You know?
Yeah, I didn't really understand that because obviously you mentioned the 5 types that are in
Yeah.
this, and those are the exact 5 types that apparently
The
this
jock,
god
the fool, the virgin,
demands.
the good girl.
But why? So why is Japan taking out
The
an
moral
entire
guy.
classroom of children?
Because they need to do it for sacrificial reasons.
What? So the god demands different things in different countries.
Well, if there's anything I've learned throughout time is that all gods are evil, and they request really, really bizarre stuff, like the slaughtering of.
But I thought it was the
multiple
same
school
god,
children.
and so it doesn't matter if other countries fail, as long as one country gets it right. That's
So
all
was
that
it
really
not
matters.
gods? You have to appease the gods.
Yeah, but they kept saying, "Oh, this country's failed, this country's failed, this country's failed," so we have to do it. So that made me think that, like I just said, as long as one country.
Yeah, I think that's what when it shows shots of let's just call it the basement, otherworldly basement, and they have the carvings in the wall of the 5 characters, you know, the fall and all that,
Yeah.
and also when the bloodletting starts. I think as long as that's filled up for somebody.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't really understand. I liked the Japan thing.
Maybe because they were failing so badly that they needed, because Japan never fails, because like I said, pound for pound, they're
do
outworking
they?
us. Or do they? Yeah,
Or do
that's a
they?
very good point. It's at this point now, when we go back to the bit you've already said, when our blonde girl, the bad girl, she starts, slut dropping in front of everybody and everyone's watching her, and the stoner says then that Thor is acting strange, and this is when he goes outside and looks up, and he notices that there's no stars, and he starts talking to one of the girls about the puppeteers, and this is when your favourite Pop-Tart joke comes into it.
Yeah, it's so dumb, but I love it. He's like saying something about like, oh, the puppeteers were puppets, and then she goes, oh, something about puppets, and he's like, Pop-Tarts? Did you say you have Pop-Tarts?
Yeah, it's just the delivery of it, the execution that he delivers lands the joke very well, and at the same time, while them two are talking, Thor and his girlfriend, she's finished dancing now for everybody, and they go off into the forest alone, and the control room are watching them, and they're like wondering, who's going to come and kill them, and it's not before she's about to reveal her breasts, and we get the shot of the entire control, all the men going, oh,
Yeah,
when it cuts away.
They're very disappointed
Yeah.
that she's apparently too chilly. So obviously the control room turns up the temperature. Then she says it's too dark, so they give them a light spot. Again, they kept going on in this about how you know who's watching, right? And that's why they need titty and whatnot to.
Yeah, you got to please everybody. You got to please the fans.
But that wasn't really either obvious to me, because as far as I was aware, the only thing that really matters for the survival of humanity is that this god or gods under the ground get their blood full of stuff. So why do they need tit?
Well, because it's just another horror cliche. It's a comment on the audience and what they need to be satisfied.
But it's not the gods who need the nipple, is it?
No, it's satirical.
Yeah.
The fans are the gods, and the fans need boobies. Yeah. Then we've got Thor and his girlfriend in the woods. They're about to get down to it, but the Butners, this undead family of swamp people, come out of the woods. They've got this trowel, which is quite effective. Every time he throws it, it's like a bear trap.
Yeah.
Digs into your back, and then he'll pull you along with it. And yeah, I really enjoyed the weapon of choice of the Butners. It was pretty gruesome.
It was good. I enjoyed the Butners in general. I thought.
And even though it's like really obvious and you've seen it 1,000 times, it was just done in a it was done in a 10 out of 10 way. And the weapon, like I said, really cinched it.
So at this point,
It's like a wrong
blonde girl,
turn, Hills of Eyes type.
blonde girl is offed, and the first lever in the control room is pulled, and this is when we first actually see the blood going into some carved bits, and we don't get shown the full image, do we, until like the end of the movie, but basically we realise that there's some blood sacrifice thing going on.
We think it's over, back to the control room when we have the as it ever was. Everyone's doing their little prayer, their little speech, their little slogan after the bloodletting is supposed to have happened.
Oh yeah, we also have like a newish, I think he's a security guy in the control room.
He comes in early in it, and he decides he doesn't want to bet. He's the new guy.
Yeah,
Trimmans, I believe his name is.
He's like the only one who's retained, because he's new, retained some sort of conscience.
He's not jaded yet.
About the fact that like these are human lives that we're sacrificing, whereas
Everybody
everyone else
else
is so
just
used
blowing
to
off
it.
steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's him.
Yeah, and it's now we get back to the stoner guy. He's in his cabin, and he's smoking away, and it's then that we find out that, he's supposed to be impervious to the tricks and the smoke and mirrors that the control room are playing on our cabin crew by putting vapors into the rooms and stuff like that to make them smell, and then they would think something. And the whispers come in and they tell him, why'd you go for a walk? And he's like, he's like, you can't get to my brain, I'm too strong. And then he has like one more pose, like, I think I'm gonna go for a walk. And clearly that is his own thought, but he's just clearly forgotten that he's just been told that by the vapors that be.
Yeah, this weed that was supposedly supposed to make him more susceptible has actually done the opposite and made him like have an open mind to what's going on.
We then see him be attacked similarly with a trowel. We think he's gone.
Yeah, you're right.
At this point, we think we are now just left with the final girl, Thor, and the good guy. So, because Thor's obviously been attacked and he's seen his girlfriend die, in the meantime, he's run back to the cabin. We also skipped over a part as well when stuff starts going wrong, and they say we should all stick together, which is non-cliche. But then again, they blow in the mists. Thor smells it. He's like, actually, I think we should all split up. It's that thing that they're doing here. And so as we're left with those three, Thor's gunning it, I believe, in the truck, and all the control room people are panicking because they haven't filled in the gap in the cave tunnel for them to get through.
Explosives! You haven't done the tunnel!
Yeah, so they do it just in time, so they can't get through the tunnel. They have to back out. And of course, it's Thor's great idea at this point to get his dirt bike.
Because he's the athlete.
He's quite the dirt biker, yeah, because he's the athlete, like you say.
I can make that jump.
Easy. I've done much bigger jumps than this. He's like, when I come back, I'm going to bring help. I'm going to bring the cops, and I'm going to bring fucking guns and stuff. And that's probably, I assume I'm going to give the writers credit. That's why they've shown the bird going in, because we know full well that he's not going to make it. So that's why they have him make such a upbeat, tub thumping speech.
Yeah, because again, otherwise, if we didn't know that this wall thing was there,
the electric fence,
it might seem like a bit of a last minute kind of, oh shit, we can't, let's do something. Whereas having shown us previously with a bird, we as the audience know something that they don't know.
Yeah, so he's dead because of the electric fence. We get back.
I like the bit when he's like just tumbling down as well.
We get back into the truck, and the good guy's driving it, and very quickly he's stabbed through the back of the seat, and he's gone, and we are left with just the final girl who has to go back on her tracks because, as we say, the cave has been filled in, so she has to go back into the hunting area as such. When she goes there, it's not long before, we think it's over, and the guys at the control room are celebrating with champagne and tequila.
Yeah, because at this point,
they love tequila.
She's on the pier, very...
the Jason pier, the Friday the 13th
I was going to say very
pier.
Friday the 13th. She's on the pier, she's, one of the Butner family guys, the one with the bear trap chain dingy,
the trowel,
is fighting with her, and we're like, seeing in the background her being slowly offed whilst everyone, as you said, in the control room is celebrating that they've done their job. But then, oh my goodness,
the bat phone
call,
the bat phone rings, the red phone,
and you can tell that this can only mean bad news. So he's like, everyone shut up, turn the music off, and he goes and answers the phone, and we don't hear the other end of the phone, but clearly something in the process is off, and we're led to believe that actually someone might have survived. Da, da, da.
Stoner dude! Shaggy is here. Shaggy saves the day, saves the girl. They've got to go off together, and they've got to go down below where the gods are.
Yeah, so Shaggy has also found this bunker thing, and in this bunker thing is an elevator which he can override from a control pad in the bunker. He's very smart for a stoner.
Well, he's tuned in because he's smoking.
Man. He's tuned in. And so the two of them
he doesn't believe in reality. He knows better than that.
Get into this elevator, going to who knows where, but what are their options really? You stay here with the Butner family, or you see where the elevator goes.
The Butner family are not very hospitable.
No, they're not the nicest. And so they get in this elevator, and the next thing we see is two sides of the elevator are just like clear glass panels or whatever. And they keep coming to stops, and various monsters are seen.
First we get the Wolfman.
The werewolf thing, yeah.
Then we get a ghost. Then after that, we get a tribute to the Cenobites, which was
Yeah, that was. I mean, they've taken be like, Hellraiser. So they had a cube. I know. Let's make it into a sphere, which Chris Hemsworth is fondling in the basement, and let's take Pinhead and beef him up a bit.
And whiten his face and just have one saw go through his head.
I don't not like
a bit lazy.
it though, because Hellraiser's great. So why not?
No, but I'm talking about the homage wasn't. It's very. I guess they got to think of a lot of things. So I would say that, but I mean, when you're just thinking of, here's a CGI snake, here's a CGI spider, here's a CGI bat, you could probably put a bit more effort into your practical effects work. It was a lazy Cenobite, and it just proves again how great the Cenobites actually are. It's not that easy to come up with something as imaginative and unique as they are.
I mean, I thought the Saw things was quite cool, but it was such a rip-off.
I didn't dislike it. No, it's not even a rip-off. Again, it's an homage. We're showing. We know what we're getting now. This is not quite a parody of horror, not even an homage of horror. It's kind of its own thing. It's a genre movie almost.
But also at the moment that they're in the elevator and we see the Pinhead type on one side, which is what the final girl is looking at. The stoner is looking in the other direction, and this was the one that I was a bit like, So he's seeing the ballerina, which obviously would have been the one,
the tooth-faced
that the smart guy was ballerina. Looking at, and she's just a little skinny girl, and he sees her from the back, and she just looks like a skinny ballerina, and he's like, why is he so terrified?
He's stoned. He's stoned, so he's paranoid. I mean, if there's a little girl facing away from him, even without everything else, if he just walks in down the road and there's a little girl in the dark facing away from him, not really moving much, it's going to freak him out.
To be fair, when she turns around, she has like,
he's your
just
classic
a face
stoner
full of
with
teeth.
paranoia.
Yeah. He's tuned in, yo. And then they eventually get. Oh no, that was it. So we zoom out, kind of thing, and we see all these like moving boxes, elevators. They're in one of them, and obviously this elevator, as Stoner mentioned before, is how the Buttners got out into their cabin woods area, and all the other boxes are filled with all the other options, including one of the control room guys' favourite,
the merman.
Yeah. And control room.
I'll never get to see a merman.
Control room figures out which box these two are in, and they obviously still need to off the stoner guy. Apparently it doesn't really matter if the virgin dies or not, but stoner guy has to go. So they press the button and elevator goes to their like headquarters.
And if virgin does die, she has to go last.
She has to go last. Yeah, that's vital. So they end up in the control room like headquarters, essentially, in this massive building thing, don't they? And they end up releasing all of the monsters. So they get into this little control room thing in the control room building. And that's when we get all of them. And there are some really random monsters coming out of this.
Like the unicorn.
Yeah.
I guess it's just a comedy moment. I'm not loving it.
Mind you, isn't there a new horror movie called Death of Unicorn? So I'm assuming that's like a scary unicorn. I don't know.
Unicorn's not scary.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so. But anyway, these monsters... Also, why is there even a button that you can press that releases all of them into your building? That makes no sense.
It's the override button. Who knows when you might need to override and
if anything, havoc. Release all of them into, like, the cabin woods area. Why would you have anything that releases them into your... That makes no sense. But whatever. Chaos ensues.
So that it takes out all of the army-type people who have wronged them.
Yeah.
That's what's more important.
And also, surely one of them would have sufficed as, the stoner dude's blood sacrifice.
So as we said, Bradley Whitford, during the whole entire movie, has been wanting the merman to come. It seems like for years he's been wanting the merman to be the character that offs the chosen lot. And of course, when he's imperiled in the control room and it's all going wrong, everyone's been eaten by monsters, what comes out of the mist along the floor? The merman, and yeah, he gets his neck chomped off, and the merman does the old spits Bradley Whitford's blood through his little blowhole.
The merman doesn't seem like it would be a very.
I was a bit underwhelmed
killer.
By the merman after the build up of the merman.
Yeah, it
I was also underwhelmed just by the monsters at the end. The first time I saw it, it was kind of you're overwhelmed the amount of monsters. Like, oh, this is pretty cool. But then when you start looking at them, especially when the snake comes up close, it's just a giant CGI snake. It just reminds me of, Medusa in the remake of Clash of Titans, which was completely lame compared to the stop motion Medusa.
It does feel like a very different
The scorpion
film
is CGI. Yeah.
from the moment they get into the elevator and
thing is-
override it. It's like yeah.
The type of movie they've done, they can just get away with going, no, we did it on purpose. We're making a note about CGI against practical effects, but I don't believe that.
But yeah,
So he's eaten by the merman. So after he's now gone,
all
we're
the security
pretty
guys have been
much
taken
At the end of the
out,
movie,
and-
we're back to the blood sacrifice room. The ritual sacrifices are all
chamber
taking
thing.
part.
surrounded.
who-
They're on like a big stone thing,
Yeah.
and around it looks like kind of like a lava hell type thing.
I am mid.
Yeah.
Who comes out from behind? The one and only, the goddess, the queen, Sigourney Weaver. A movie can only get better with the presence, the introduction of the one and only Sigourney Weaver. We'd already heard her previously over the tannoy, but not everyone's going to catch on to that. And now
guess
we
what?
finally
She's
see her in
trying
the
to
flesh.
save humanity yet again.
Yet again, yeah. We can't
Thank you,
we
Sigourney.
cannot do without her.
And she explains to our two remaining characters that if this ritual sacrifice doesn't go to plan, the entire world will be taken over by these horrible gods that are currently being appeased by these blood sacrifice yearly, and humanity essentially will be ended. So she's trying to convince the Virgin, who's not actually a virgin, by the way, but
It's the best we can get.
it's the best, do the best we can. Trying to convince the Virgin to kill the stoner, and she almost does.
Yeah. She was about to before he interferes and saves his own life. Instead, they drop Sigourney Weaver down the edge into hell.
Well, the monsters are even infiltrating this area now, so I think it's the werewolves.
Rocks
that
are
come
falling
as well, I
down.
love it.
Yeah. So now with the stoner and the final girl just decide to lean up against the stone. Stoner lights one final bifter, and he's still good enough to share it with
Yeah.
the girl who's just tried to blow his brains out. And yeah, there we go. That's it. A giant CGI hand then comes and ends everything.
That was
was
actually
lame.
I was literally about to say that was my least favourite part, is when the giant god hand comes up out of the ground. I was like, what a letdown ending.
Yeah. So I'd say, because this is, I said, the
But I enjoyed it.
fourth or fifth time I've seen it now, and I only watched it again to put it into the horror cabin special. I certainly don't need. It's a decent movie, worth a watch, but I don't need to see it ever again.
I would watch it again.
Yeah, you're not 5 in yet. You're only a couple of views in, so maybe you'll get there eventually. But yeah, I'm finished with this movie, and yeah, it's fine. At least it's something slightly different. It just has a bunch of things for me that take away from it, and being comedy horror, it does meld the two quite well.
And it's actually got funny things.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what
It's
works.
not just like painful.
If that's your type of humour, I guess, yeah. But yeah, it's much better humour than what I would say we've seen more recently in comedy horrors. That's why I'm jaded with them. But now let's get to your number 2. The original, the granddaddy, The Evil Dead. Someone's blood sugar is running low, and she will now be chomping on a chocolate bar. I think she's trying to delay as to why Evil Dead has come in for her at second spot.
Okay.
So
I have to explain here.
What is it? Let's go.
I have to explain here. So, if you've watched our stuff previously, you should know by now that this guy, John, is the horror buff, right? I'm a relative newbie. Horror wasn't really on my agenda until we started dating.
I saved your life.
And you showed me a lot of things, including, I think, Cabin Fever. I don't think I'd even seen that before we met.
Yes, I showed you Cabin Fever.
This was the first time I've ever
Gladly, I might
seen
add.
Evil Dead.
No, it's the second time you've seen it.
No.
No, it's the second time because the first time you watch it, you were also, let's just say, underwhelmed, and it's stuck with me ever since. I've been waiting to watch it again for the second time.
I don't remember any of it. Are you sure?
100%, yes. I know the horror movies that I've shown you, especially the granddaddy horror movies, and we've definitely watched Evil Dead. You've only seen it the one time, like we said. It would have been close to 10 years ago So I would have showed you it early, and it was one of the ones that I was on a roll. Like I'd shown you, you'd already seen Scream, but I hadn't really paid the attention that it deserved. So when I said, watch this movie again, then he was like, oh, I love this. As we just said, Cabin Fever. I showed you Cabin Fever. Blah blah blah. We go on and on. And Evil Dead was one of the first ones where you kind of just got up and was like, oh, let's go to bed now, or I'm going to make some tea or whatever. Afterwards, it was just like, eh.
People are going to crucify me for this because I know
okay,
that
I'm here.
People like worship this film.
As well they should.
And I think I'm choking on my chocolate. I think part of it might be
remain professional.
Might be the fact that when this came out, apparently it was quite groundbreaking.
Of course, yeah. I mean, like we said already, we just reviewed Cabin in the Woods. Where did we see all these things come from?
But I saw Cabin in the Woods before Evil Dead, as far as I'm aware.
No.
Well, you say otherwise,
No.
But basically,
you also said he hadn't paid much attention to Cabin in the Woods the first time I showed you it, so it just goes to show. You literally just said it. We can rewind.
But I
rewind
no,
the footage.
but my memory was no. I'm not saying like I disagree. I agree. But whilst we were watching Cabin in the Woods, there were specific moments where I was like, oh yeah, I have seen this. Whereas Evil Dead, there's not a single thing where I was like, oh, I've seen this before. So
it's not the first time it's happened to either one of us. But anyway, let's go as to why you hate this movie.
Hate this movie? When did I say I hate this movie?
That's what I heard. That's what's going around my head. Is that you hate the
you
Evil
never
Dead.
listened to me.
Just like you hate Bill Moseley.
No. You are so dumb. I don't hate this movie. But going purely from enjoyment, I neither felt scared at any point, nor did I get the fact that people find this really funny.
Well, there's got to be some kind of perspective, as I said. You have seen something before, but you were in your 20s, right? When I saw this film, much like a whole bunch of other people who would have seen, the original It at the same time, I was like 7 when I saw this.
This is what I'm saying.
This movie is a rite of passage for a lot of people. And I'd seen a lot of movies, horror movies, violent movies when I was a child. And this was one of the ones that actually legitimately scared me. Much like Pennywise, Tim Curry scared me in It. Much like Hellraiser, violated me. This is again was one of those films. As a child, you have to see it as a child, and then when you grow up, you appreciate it for other things. But it's one of those things which is nightmare fuel. It's also an original, almost again the granddaddy. I'll say it again of video nasties, movies that were banned and given X ratings, and it happened to be on its release on VHS, the year of the VHS release of this movie. It was the highest selling VHS in England, because it has this whole reputation around it, which is deserved.
This is what I'm trying to say. I can understand that why it has such an impact on so many people, but don't hate me too much, because the difference is I didn't grow up with this at all. I'd seen all the things that were, as you said, inspired by or straight rip-offs of Evil Dead. I've seen them. So to me, this had way less impact than it would have had on most people when they first saw it.
Honestly, I guess we don't need to explain the story because everyone would have seen this who's watching this. I just want to give you a few things as well over the years that I found out about the movie. So in the actual cabin itself, this was Sam Raimi moved. He was going to shoot it in Detroit, which I believe is where he's from, and he thought it was going to be too cold. So he moved it to Tennessee, and it just so happened that it happened to be like Tennessee's like coldest winter or whatever it was on record, or pretty much at that time.
Like plumbing or electricity or something.
There were 13 crew members that slept in that cabin. They say there was no plumbing, no showers, lots of arguing, freezing temperatures. Everybody was getting ill. The cameras froze because of the temperature. They had to wait for it to thaw out. The wiring froze. Things like this. Yeah. You go, because I've got a lot more to say about it.
Again, I suppose another thing.
It's one of those things. Also, Sam Raimi was 20 when he made this.
That's crazy.
And he went out and obviously, he had to raise money. Obviously, it's low budget. It's crazy low budget, and there are a whole bunch of movies where they run out of money halfway through. Bruce Campbell, the guy who plays Ashley, he had to put his house up for collateral, or his family's house up for collateral, should I say. And they were like beg, stealing, and borrowing left, right, and centre, to the point where when they were doing the reshoots, the original members of the cast couldn't show up, so that's how you get the fake shemps is what you're asking
Shemp?
for.
What's
yeah,
a shemp?
stand-ins.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. Again, knowing so much of the actual behind the scenes stuff makes this so much more
A triumph,
Yeah. And again, the word iconic.
an originator.
And yeah, it's just a shame, I suppose, that I came to it so late and had seen so many derivatives and stuff, because all I could keep thinking about was, again, given the budget and everything, it makes perfect sense. But the makeup was... It can be quite silly at certain times.
I think it's great still. I think it's
quite silly.
I think it has a lot of charm to it.
Yeah, it does have charm. It does have that.
And still, the sister in the basement is still freaky to me.
I thought the acting was great when they
acting
turned.
was great, yeah.
And I loved the non-violent one who gets possessed. So Ash's girlfriend. I thought that was really, really good. But there were certain things that to me were like, yeah, I can see that this is not like... Well, actually, no, I can't even say it's studio, because studios make so many big mistakes. But there were certain things that bothered me in my way of being bothered with horror movies. So when things are happening, there's like, bashing in the door, and this is tiny cabin, and apparently they can't hear it forever. And there's like a whole thing that goes down with one of the possessed girls fighting two of the guys, and they're making loads of noise, but apparently the other girl has still just slept through the whole thing.
Like I say, I said it to you before in these episodes, you're just thinking too much.
And,
you're thinking way too much. Just got to sit down and enjoy the ride.
There was something... Yeah, there's just some things that were like, that is so silly. However, the plant awakening abuse thing...
You mean the forest, when the forest comes alive?
That's still something I haven't seen very much.
No, we actually saw it we watched that, I believe it was like a Russian movie, where again, people go into the woods, and right at the beginning, there's a mirror in the woods, she looks into the mirror, but she has to look at it because, again, she's been tied up by the vines, and in that review I was like, oh, Evil Dead here, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't happen much, but it's something I've written down about that scene. Let's just call it like the forest rape, right? And for me, we're talking about the evil dead. These are evil, demonic, dead, possessing everything around them, people, nature.
I also thought the Evil Dead was more of a zombie film,
right?
Because it isn't really, is it?
So you're talking about what you're expecting?
Yeah.
No, it's not a zombie movie.
No.
But a lot of people have like shied away from that scene. They're saying, oh, I wish I hadn't put that in, kind of thing. And I was like, but it's the Evil Dead. It's what the Evil Dead would do if they possessed a bunch of vines and they had a lady.
That, to me, that's still one of the most
it's probably
memorable moments in it.
Yeah. I don't know if people shy away from it because of just other people's opinions to kind of supposedly save face or whatever. But without that, the movie, stuff is taken away from the movie.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
It needs things like that. This is why it has the reputation that it has. So I don't see why they back away from it. Just want to say as well, when they discover the book and all that, and and they get the recorder going and they're playing the recorder, so all the voices are coming out. There's a bit where like they're smoking dope, and they actually gave them real dope. But Sam Raimi said once all the cast smoked dope, that they were just not controllable and doing things that he didn't want them to do. So we had to wait for them to sober up again and redo that bit without being method. There's also the iconic bit of the camera just running through the forest. As I say, this is low budget. That was a camera put onto a 2x4. Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell either side of it, just running through the woods.
Yeah,
filming
and apparently, because I did look up a bit of this afterwards, apparently as well, Sam Raimi sat in a dinghy or something.
Yes.
And Bruce Campbell literally just like pushed him.
Yeah.
And again, like, I'll
also
say
recorded
it
the sounds
one more
by
time.
himself. The sounds
If
is a
I'd
real
have
sound.
seen this before watching all the things that have come after it and been inspired by it, this probably would have hit so much harder. But it's just I've seen the things that came after before this.
We've got into that.
Takes away from it.
You've dug the hole you're in. There's no getting out of it. Also, there's a part where one of the cameramen slipped on set, and his camera fell into Bruce Campbell's face, knocking out multiple teeth.
Ouch.
Yeah, a lot of people got stabbed on there, inadvertently, accidentally. The contact lenses to show the possessed were made of like thick glass, and you could only have them in for 15 minutes at a time, and it would blind you. You couldn't see what you were doing. So when these things are fighting Ash at some point, he's essentially fighting a blind person.
That sounds horrendous.
They had to take it out every 15 minutes, and I think they could only do it 4 or 5 times a day. Yeah, there was so much blood on Bruce Campbell's shirt that he wants to get off, and he dried it by the fire. When he went to pick it up, and it snapped in half. Yeah, just little things like this are what bring the legend of the story. I'll say I thought about it being the biggest selling VHS in England on its year of release. Also, interestingly, we brought up before about the type of movie Heathen is, and we're reviewing a movie which had either a scene of a drive-in movie, or I was talking about it being a big hit, the drive-in. This movie in America made 25% of its money at drive-in theatres. It's one of those kind of films that just doesn't kind of exist anymore.
So was this one of the first films then where we get the like group of college students or whatever going to a cabin, lighting a campfire, getting high, like, because this is just like a major trope now.
Yeah, this is the one.
Right.
Yeah, you could say Friday the 13th as well. People go to a cabin, but this is more. That's more thought of as a Jason /slasher movie, whereas this is thought of as the cabin movie. Yeah. Also, we mentioned Bruce Campbell getting his teeth knocked out before he got stabbed as well. There was also a point where he's looking down into the basement, and the puppeteer goes with a hand to grab Ash's face, and he did it blindly. And as he pulled the hand back, it actually scratched out part of Bruce Campbell's flesh, and you see his blood on camera. One of the last things I've got to say about in the movie, which is a nice bit of trivia, the car they're driving to the woods, that giant yellow car, that was Sam Raimi's like family car when he was like 14 or something, and then he was using it to go to the set of Evil Dead or whatever, and it's been used in pretty much all of his subsequent films afterwards, including, if you remember, Drag Me to Hell, Mrs. Ganush's car, which is in the car park. It's the same car, yeah. So it's like an iconic piece of horror iconography. That motor, the Oldsmobile, is called. Yeah. When do you think? So as I said, this was a video nasty. It was banned in a lot of places, and obviously over time the ban has been lifted.
Yeah.
In Germany, when do you think the ban was lifted? Seeing it was taken away on release in 82.
2000?
2016. It's only had its ban lifted, and there's a piece of trivia. Listen to it.
There's so much more horrific stuff out there.
But it wasn't even like the first instance. So in West Germany, the movie's February 84 release was hindered by public authorities for approximately 8 years. Original 1982 cinema and video release of the movie had been seized, making the movie a hit on the black market. Eventually, the first legal uncut version of the movie entered the German market in 2001 on DVD. This version was also seized by German authorities less than a year later.
That's so strange to me.
It took like the likes of Stephen King stepping in and saying, like, "Hey, Germany, like, I thought you were hardcore. What are you doing?"
That's really I find that so bizarre though. Like, I find, for example, The Exorcist
that was also
disturbing.
Banned. Last House on the Left was also banned. Yeah, quite a few.
Okay, well, if they're all banned, then...
There's another thing. Production would frequently be halted because local hunters would just wander into the shot. So imagine you're already going through all this crap, and then all of a sudden, just like you're about to get down to it, and just just the thought of that
and I guess, again,
really tickles me.
This another thing that this must have started then is the fact that they're not allowed to leave the area, essentially. There's some greater power that's keeping them there.
Do you also remember at the beginning of the movie when they're driving up the hilly road, and there are two kind of like just guys standing by the side of the road and they wave at the car? When they find when the incantations are happening in the cabin, what's being said is Samanzarob de is Haika Dandirosa. And it's Sam Raimi, and Rob Tapper is one of the producers. So Sam and Rob, are hiking down the road. The Sandy Rosa. That's essentially what they're saying, and it's just them saying, yeah, Sam and Rob are the people at the side of the road. That's what they used as the incantation. Yeah. So that's trivia time over. The things that the things that just make the movie what it is for me. And just away from that, yeah, scared the living crap out of me when I saw it. And that's the kind of thing that will always stick with you. It's not quite, Bone Collector levels. I know, Karin, that's one that scared you. The Hollywood, was it Denzel and Angelina Jolie vehicle? They're the two that are in that, right?
Well, it kind of
Now that is
me
chilling.
out, yeah.
That's chilling compared to Evil Dead. But anything else? Would you like to muddy, the reputation of this movie anymore?
No.
So you said you want to watch Cabin in the Woods again. Would you want to watch Evil Dead again?
Yeah.
Right. Would you want to watch Evil Dead 2?
Yeah.
Would you want to watch Evil Dead 3, Army of Darkness?
Yeah.
And would you want to watch the remake? Here we are. See, I saw the remake in the cinema. And what they've done...
Who directs it?
The guy that did the latest Alien movie, he also wrote the Netflix Texas Chainsaw movie. So
I think I'll pass.
I saw it in the cinema, and they've gone straight, like, hardcore, like, nothing tongue-in-cheek. Although they argued that apparently the original's not tongue-in-cheek, though it kind of is. And we saw it, we saw it in the cinema, and I saw it with a guy called Will Matthews, a former colleague of mine. And the Evil Dead to him is like what RoboCop is to me, what Lord of the Rings is to you. And his favourite part of the movie was at the end credits as an Easter egg of Bruce Campbell just going, groovy. And that was his favourite part of the movie. So I guess that kind of says everything. Mm-hmm. So let's go on to your number 1 and my number 2, the amazing, the incredible Cabin Fever. Any other week against most any other films, Cabin Fever would have been number 1 for me because, god damn it, I love this film.
I love this film.
Mm-hmm. Eli Roth's best.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think it's by far and away. My second favourite Eli Roth movie, just for the record, is Knock Knock with Keanu Reeves when he has his life terrorised by these 2 girls.
This one, for me, hits like all the things.
Crack.
Because it's hilarious. There are so many like super, super memorable comedy moments, like quotable ones. But it's also, to me, of the 3, it's the scariest one because it's the most...
Because you shave your legs?
No, that's not why. Because
I would have thought that might have been it.
Because it's, to me, the most believable situation, and they've made the situation so gross.
It is the one most grounded in reality, yeah.
Well, by
That's
quite
why
a while.
it's believable for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not believe in people in control rooms overseeing other people's lives and having an effect on that, influencing it?
I've never been one of these people that thinks we're in like some
Matrix.
The
Matrix.
No.
We're living in a hologram. This is a hologram life. There are glitches.
Doesn't appeal to me.
Glitches in this Matrix. So Cabin Fever, 2002. Ryder Strong, he's in it. He's famous from Boy Meets World. He plays the lead guy, Paul. Got Joey Kern, my favourite character in the movie. He plays Jeff. James DeBello, who's the moronic one. He's also in American Pie. They're really engaging, that guy. We've also got Jordan Ladd, who plays the good girl, and Serena Vincent, who plays the more sexual character in the movie. And of course, the one and only Giuseppe Andrews, who plays Deputy Winston. Yeah. So opening credits, we get constant fly sound against a backdrop of kind of like dirty yellow / brown paper with the names coming up, and it kind of sets the tone right from the beginning in terms of the horrific side of it.
I was going to say the horrific side, yeah, but you're not expecting the comedy so much.
And it opens up with an actor called Ari Vavine, who's playing kind of a hobo type guy, and we see him in the woods, and he comes across a dead dog. His dog, and he's like, "Hey, boy," and he pulls up the dog's paw, and as his torso opens, it gets him in the face.
Yeah, I was thinking at the time, I was like, how has this guy not realised that his dog is dead? Like,
he does look a bit worse for wear.
And also his eyes are just open the whole time. I'm like, this is...
He looks like...
you're saying the guy is worse for wear, not the dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the guy's definitely worse for wear. So that's kind of like our intro to the movie. And then, what are we in? We're in a truck. What have we got? We got 5 people in this truck. Where are we going? To a small town convenience store / gas station. And don't sit next to Dennis because Dennis bites.
Yeah, that's such a. I mean, that whole running joke as well is brilliant. You know, because we get there at first. One of the guys sits down on the thing and tries to make conversation with this little boy,
Yeah,
and
Bert.
he gets bitten on the hand.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys, the one who's like a lawyer in training or something, is like, "Have you ever thought about, you know, having a sign because you might get sued?" And then way later in the movie, when we go back, it's not even obviously like they don't close in on the sign, but you can just see that they have actually done that, and they've put up a sign: "Do not sit next to Dennis."
Don't
It's
do
just
it.
little things like that are what make this movie for me.
And after we're introduced to Dennis and what I believe is his dad, the guy in the South Park type hat, we go into the store and we've got a Santa Claus type guy
He is
behind
brilliant.
the counter. And you know, I believe, so as I said, I've watched this movie so many times. I also went through a period, I went through a period of just watching the same movie over again at night time to fall asleep to. For a long time, it was Cabin Fever with the DVD commentary.
Right.
And they had a small script for him, but he just never ever went by it and just did all of his own dialogue. They couldn't control the man. They could not control the man.
Somehow I
You better put that down, because you'll attract all the foxes in this community, and you'll have friends you never had before. It's just what he says is so out of left field. That is, like you've already gotten onto. It's the kind of thing that makes this movie as special as it is.
That character, he's such a small role in the entire, like the whole movie, but he is bloody brilliant. And
every character counts pretty much.
And I think probably my favourite joke in the entire thing comes from him, because right at the start when they're there for the first time...
What's the rifle for?
Yeah, what's the rifle for? Oh, that's for the... I can't even say it, but that's for the N-word. And you're left thinking like, oh, this is some small town backwater and he's a massive racist kind of thing. And then obviously we get the payoff right at the end of the movie when the guys come and collect the rifle. And he's like, here you go, my N-word. And it's like, oh, okay. We misjudged him.
I love it.
It's so funny.
And as well as that, we've also... So after we've finished with him, which is a highlight of the movie for me. We get back to Bert is now in the woods and he's walking off with like a BB shotgun.
Oh, Bert is such a fucking annoying character.
I knew you'd hate Bert.
Yeah, he is. At first...
Why is he going to shoot the squirrels?
Just because he wants to, right?
Because squirrels are gay, according to him. Yeah.
When we first see him and he's like, cute kid, I was like, oh, maybe he's actually just like a nice guy or whatever. And then as soon as you get to the cabin, he's like, you know, lighting fires and leaving them unattended. He's going off to shoot squirrels for no reason.
Well, he says why he's shooting them.
He's a twat.
So after his twatish behaviour, we've been to the convenience store. Now I'm just waiting for a jetty and a lake. And what do I get paid back with? A jetty and a lake. Ryder Strong laying there with his hairy nipples and the blonde next to him, teasing him, really. So do you enjoy that we're getting, you know, where have I seen this before? It'll come to me. So
Friday the 13th.
Campfire scene is coming up. But before this, back to Bert. And what's he done?
He's shot someone. He shot the guy who found his dead dog. And the guy's like, why didn't you shoot me? But he's also like, I'm sick. And he looks grim at this point already, doesn't he? He
looks pretty dry.
And you can see why...
Red raw.
Bert is like backing off and saying, don't come near me.
He's being reasonable.
He is being reasonable. You would stay away from someone who looks like that. And he's kind of offering to get him help. But then... He like shoves the guy into a ditch again and runs off back to the cabin. But then he doesn't say or do anything regarding this guy.
At some point, he doesn't shove him. He just like kind of shoots at the floor and the guy just falls back to him. So and the reason I bring it up is because I find it quite funny the way that he falls into the ditch.
Yeah. So Bert hasn't told any of the others about this occurrence.
Now we're at maybe the zenith of the movie. The campfire scene. And around the campfire, they're telling, you know...
Bert's still being a twat.
They're burning marshmallows, cooking marshmallows, and it's time for Ryder Strong to tell his bowling story.
Yeah.
And this is a true story.
What, for real?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I wouldn't have thought that.
Ryder Strong is telling the campfire story about, I believe, whether he worked there or not, disgruntled bowling alley worker who tied up the rest of the workers at the bowling alley and hammered into the back of their heads.
Whilst they watched
each other die, hack them up, and then bowled with their limbs. I'm not sure about the bowling with the limbs being part of the true story, but being tied up in the chair, having the back of their head whacked in by a hammer while they all watched, and then being hacked up is a true story.
Horrific.
And in that scene, we see Eli Roth's brother as the happy,
is that his
smiling
brother?
man,
Right.
yeah, whose head ends up in the ball return, just jiggling up and down. We get this, and it's once that Ryder Strong says that part of the story about his head being in the ball return. It was like,
the girls think that he's pulling their legs.
He's shitting them.
But he's adamant that it's a true story. Yeah.
And now, out of the woods, who could it be? Eli Roth himself as Grim, and he's with his dog, Dr. Mambo.
Ooh. Face.
Why is he a dog? Why is he a doctor? Why is he a professor? Yeah, he's a professor of being a dog. Ooh, faced.
It's so dumb.
Scratch
I love
moded.
it. See, this is my kind of humour. Dumb, but it gets me. It really gets
the
me.
whole ooh faced bit. With that, after he's happy with himself, ooh faced. He's like, that's a positive bonfire.
Yeah, his performance is spot on, isn't it? It's like, it's right on the cusp. It's like right there between being too much, where it's so obvious that someone's acting, but he just manages to keep it under that line where it's so over the top that it's hilarious, but it's still believable enough.
I'm a fan of directors putting themselves into their own movies in this sense. You know, Eli Roth was going to play Deputy Winston originally, but then Giuseppe Andrews came and did his audition. He knocked it out of the park. Then he was like, oh, he's going to be in. So maybe he wrote this extra bit or just took it away from somebody else.
Yeah, well, it is kind of random. It doesn't make much difference to the plot, does it?
The whole ooh face thing, that is something you reference quite often, isn't it?
Yeah,
I love that line, and the positive bonfire line, and of course everyone seems to also know about the pancakes line. Just what is your favourite line from this movie?
Well, actually, really early on when we started doing our social media stuff about horror, we did a little thing about what's our favourite quote from a horror movie, and I ended up going with the one from Hannibal, which is, fantastic, but that's only because I didn't feel like I could say my real favourite quote, which is the one we've already mentioned with the Santa Claus guy.
Yeah, it's only because of dumb internet people. Let's face it, it's very harmless, isn't it? I'm sure most people would find it funny.
What's the rifle for?
Yeah, I certainly find it hilarious.
I with the payoff at the end, that is like just golden. I love the sort of the irony of everyone being set up to judge this guy and jump straight to conclusions, and then that's what makes it so funny.
Yeah, his delivery is also just fantastic of it.
He is great.
It's also at this point around the campfire that we have Jeff and Bert have made a bet to only drink beer for the duration of the camping trip,
which obviously ends up being very important.
They tried to get rid of Grim, aka Eli Roth, but then he's like, I guess I'm just going to smoke this weed by myself. So of course he's got the weed, so he's invited. They have a little toke, but then the heavens open, so they've got to like kind of split because he's left his like cabin door open or whatever.
I thought it was a little bit unrealistic that all of them wanted to smoke weed, though. I've never been in a group where there hasn't been one person who's like, no, I'll abstain because they prefer drinking booze or whatever it is. So that's my little input there.
I didn't get the impression that there is one, brainiac goody two-shoes guy in this. They're all just kind of like regular. So,
no, but I thought maybe like the single blonde girl might have been a bit less like,
that's well, it's a prerequisite. But in horror movies, you don't do drugs because what's going to happen if you do drugs? They've all, sealed their own fate at this point. You've got to catch on to these things.
And the lawyer guy is the most
Jeff.
Obviously rude as well. Yeah. And when they, like, as you just mentioned, so weed guy, Eli Roth character, just goes off because he's left his stuff out in the rain and he's gonna come back to the cabin supposedly and like, bring the weed, and lawyer guy is like, I swear to God, I'm only letting him in if he brought the weed.
Yeah, because they hear a knock at the door and they're expecting,
obviously they think it's him. Who else would there be in the middle of the forest?
But instead it's the hobo that Bert has shot and seen in a very dry red state, and now it's nighttime. He's even worse.
Yeah, it's gotten
state
progressively worse very quickly, and again he's asking for help, And
Once he turns up the door, you know, shit gets real.
hairy nipple guy is like, yeah, let's give him like
Ryder Strong.
let's give him some
Paul.
let's give him some water and a blanket or whatever. But Bert is like, no
fucking way.
no.
Yeah, so it ends up that they reject him, but then he walks towards their
They
truck.
get in their he gets in their
He gets
car.
in their truck. He gets into the interior. He's spewing all over the place. Coughing up blood.
Come on, for horror, that is again fantastic. Like that makes me feel so much more sick than most horror movies do. Again, it's just a personal thing, but that gets to me when he's like vomiting this blood gunk stuff. Actually, sorry, just really quickly backtracking to Evil Dead. That was one thing that we didn't mention, which I did love, was all the weird like fluids and like oatmeal or something coming out of.
Yeah. There was even 2% milk used for some of the fluids coming out of in that.
Back to this then.
When he's spewing all over the interior of the truck, there's a part where Jeff gets a bat and he caves in the window. Now, when the actor Joey Kern did this, glass flew back into his eye, and for the rest of the movie, or for the rest of the shots they had to do, which was at least half the film, they had to shoot him from only one side because he had maybe a patch on or something like this, or they couldn't do his eye because it was all jacked up. No, Joey Kern, the lawyer guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have noticed.
He smashes in the window, and his eye gets all messed up. Yeah, so they managed to get him kind of out of the car, and they tried to beat him off with fire on a stick, and they accidentally light him on fire, and that's the end of this guy. And when they go back in, so we've already had the Jeff character, threatening people as a wannabe or to-be lawyer. There's a part where after this has happened, he's about to go to bed with his girlfriend, and he's laying down, and he puts on a sleep mask, and it just tells you so much about his character in such a little tiny thing. I was wondering, I bet that was his idea to, he's thought about the character. Oh yeah, this guy definitely wears a sleep mask. They've just tortured the guy. He's like, sleep mask. Joey Kern,
get my beauty sleep.
Jeff is by far of the main cast my favorite performance.
Again, he's the most standout. He's the most like unique character of them all.
I've always thought he's been so good in this. That is just surprising to me that he hasn't got, possibly, if you want to call it, a better career, more high profile career. But I would certainly use Joey Kern in any of the scripts that I've got, for if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, Bert, I guess, is kind of memorable because I hated him. But the other three, again, just like the cabin people in Cabin in the Woods, I was just like, eh.
And that's fair enough. After all this has happened, the next morning, Bert and Jeff, they go looking for help around the area, and they come across this woman who's butchering a pig.
Hog.
His intestines all come out.
You see this? She goes, I can't use this hog.
Absolutely mental.
Yeah, she's not happy.
She's not happy, and she starts berating both Jeff and Bert because she believes that these people know the person that's been supplying her with the pigs, pretty much.
Right.
When it comes to that, they don't actually know this person. She turns around, oh, why don't you all just say so? They go into her cabin to get some help. I really liked
her performance as well.
She was good. Everyone's performances is good. They go into her cabin to get said help, but while she's phoning for help, Jeff and Bert notice on the mantle a picture of a hobo who is called Henry.
It's her like cousin or something, right?
Because they said they had to beat someone away with a stick or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, I hope it wasn't Henry. No. Sorry, we said that wrong. It was our friend. We don't need help anymore. We're gonna go. So
yeah.
But again, I was like, they shouldn't have backed out. They should have just gone with a story that was someone else, gotten help, and then But they don't.
It's very quickly after this. The scene after this, because word has got out about what's happened, some commotion at the cabin. We're introduced to the one and only Giuseppe Andrews as Deputy Winston.
I wonder how old the actor was when he did it, because he looks so young. He's like, if anything, he looks younger than the people in the cabin.
Well, everyone who's Officer Winston, ma'am, just go inside, have yourself a big 40, just party. Just party. He must say the word party about
man.
50 times in the film.
Honey, it's the party man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's such a funny character.
And when he's talking
on his little bicycle,
when he's talking to Ryder Strong, he's seen like the other girl come out of the cabin. He's like, I bet you were really partying with the girls last night. He's like, man, I'd love to party, and he starts talking about his experiences of partying. He's like, when I go and see my cousin in Wambusa, the chicks, they all want to party. So every time I go to Wambusa, it's just the way they keep saying and pronouncing Wambusa. When I'm in Wambusa.
Yeah, I love this character. Yeah, again, because it's taking this situation which should be so serious. I mean, this truck is dented all over the place. It's covered in blood and who knows what else. And all he can think about is like, hey, you guys partying?
Yeah.
I get you have some righteous partying going on here.
Going back to me listening multiple times to the commentary years ago, on the commentary it states that this is based on a real cop that Eli Roth came across when he was at like an underage party, and the guy had clearly just got in his head, like you say about Winston. He's a young guy, he's a young cop, he's just got into the job, and he turned up at this party, and his partner was like, right, we're shutting this down. And he said he just looked at the young cop and he could just see like the despair on his face, like, oh, we're shutting, this is my job now, we're shutting down parties. So he based Officer Winston, his love of partying, off of this young cop who was disappointed about shutting down parties.
Basically, apart from just telling him to keep calm and party on, he also says that he's going to get like a tow truck to come and get their vehicle to help them out.
We're going to have so many parties, don't you realise this? Mm-hmm. But I don't want to wait around for Winston to get back as he drives off on his ding ding on his push bike. So instead, they decide, Paul and Karen, to have a bit of a finger bang.
Like, Paul is hairy nipple guy.
Yeah, Ryder Strong.
And Karen is lawyer's girlfriend.
She's the blonde. The good girl blonde.
Oh, right, yeah, okay, we haven't gotten to the other one yet.
No. Ryder Strong gets lucky twice.
Right, so Paul has had a crush on this girl for God knows how long, and she has, like, kissed him on the floating pier thing, but now she's not feeling very well, and we've been shown that, she's been drinking tap water. Mm-mm. And by the way, the other girl has been drinking tea. And what do you make tea with? Tap water. So
exclusively.
Yeah. Unless you're really fancy and you get bottled water to make your tea. But yeah, so blonde girl and Paul are in her bedroom and he's like, oh, I'm going to leave now. And she's like, you don't have to leave. So apparently
those immortal words.
Being really sick turns her on.
Yeah. And
that reminds me of someone I know.
It also turns Paul on. It turns Ryder Strong on. He goes south with his hand.
Well, he's been waiting for this for however long, hasn't he?
But instead of, some fine love, we get some more like squelchy noises.
Yeah, he pulls his hand out from under the cover. Because obviously this isn't a porno movie, so you don't see what's going on. It's all under the covers. But there's some very romantic music playing over it and all of this. And as his hand appears and his face is like, what the hell? Maybe she's on the rag. But that's a lot of blood.
A lady should never utter those words, I believe.
Steel Panther put it in my vocabulary.
So they find out that she's sick because obviously Ryder Strong freaks out. It's like...
pulls the covers back.
Everyone comes in. Her legs are in...
Her, like, thigh areas disintegrating.
Eaten away at. Absolutely. Yeah. She starts to freak out. And they decide, under the, advice of Bert, who is being...
sensible.
To lock her away into the shed outside.
I mean, they could have just locked her in her room.
Nah, she deserves the shed treatment.
Does she? She deserves it.
Isolate her. Yeah, she's already been smoking pot. Now she's doing sexual things in a horror movie. What do you expect to happen to her?
I did think it was quite good the way that her character, the actor, changed up the performance, because obviously
once again, everyone is great in this. Yeah,
quite just normal, innocent, happy, and then she's like sat there smoking, like, you wouldn't want to get sick, would you? Kind of thing. And
right turn of attitude.
Yeah.
At this point,
can't blame
the rest of the guys, the rest of the four, they're all inspecting each other with a torch to make sure that no one's got any rashes anywhere and stuff like this. There's a momentary fracturing of the group before Ryder Strong sorts it out. And at this point, Bert forgets the bet and he takes a sip of water. He's lost the bet, but he's also lost a lot more than that.
I think we've already seen by now, haven't we, that the hobo guy, as we've been calling him, went away and his dead body has been in the reservoir this entire time, and that's why they keep showing us the glass of water, the mug of tea, so, you know,
Yeah, we
it's
made
in the water
aware that it's
supply.
in the water. So we've got Karen looked away, and every time we go back to her, you know, it's getting worse and worse. We have another shot of her legs, and all of her legs are just red and falling apart before it eventually happens. But at the same time, Bert manages, you know, he's washed the truck, and he manages to get the truck running. But not Bert, Jeff doesn't want to get into this car because, you know, it's already been thrown up on by the hobos. So,
and I'm sorry, Bert is like, but I cleaned it. But like
Yeah.
a car is not just like a single panel of glass or something. I guarantee there are bits.
you want
of
more like a
spew.
CSI kind of cleaning, didn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are bits in there that are just you can't reach.
And when Jeff comes out and he notices that Bert's going to drive off in the van, he's like, "You're going to come with?" And he's got a cloth up to his like.
And his six-pack.
It goes again with the sleep mask thing. He's come out with this cloth over his face to supposedly stay healthy.
And the way he walks away as
Yeah.
well, literally just the physicality of his actual gait is, So he's decided that his best bet is to just go off and hide somewhere in the woods until, I guess, his six-pack is finished. and he
Yeah,
has
2
to come out.
6-packs. Yeah. So Bert drives into town, and as we see him drive into town,
That's
we go.
commitment, by the way. He's still sticking to the bet, despite everything.
Absolutely. Plus, at this point, you probably do need a beer or two, didn't you? So Bert's off into town. Now, we've got Paul/Ryder Strong and Marcy, her name is, Serena Vincent. And she's a bit loose.
Well, she says that whole thing of, you know, when it's the end of the world and all you want to
planes
do
going down.
is get with a person closest to you. So we see the two of them. I mean, you know, Paul, he's finally getting lucky.
But he does say to her, you know, shouldn't we use a condom? And she says in what words, don't worry, I'm healthy. But yeah, we've seen her drinking the water. So they go at it without protection. Again, we're in the horror movie. You shouldn't be doing this. They finish. Ryder Strong goes off to the bathroom and he cleans his penis with Listerine because clearly it's burning right away. So he's probably feeling the disease first on his cock, which is quite grim.
Yeah, that is
Cock
grim.
burn.
We've also got a aggressive, possibly diseased dog on the loose, by the way.
Yeah, constantly going back and forth. So we've seen that, and we go now back to Bert, who's arrived again at the convenience store.
He's really looking worse for wear, by the way.
And he comes across Dennis. Yeah, Bert on his drive. His back of his neck is bleeding. He's also been coughing up, and he's also got a rash around his crotchal area. But he arrives back
for the crotch.
arrives back at the convenience store, and Dennis is sitting on the porch swing outside.
The sign is behind him.
But what does he want?
Pancakes!
Pancakes! Dennis wants pancakes. And to show off his sick, I don't know what, taekwondo, karate, kung fu moves, which he does with aplomb in slow motion. And it's one of the most bizarro parts of the movie. But again, just completely fits with the entire theme and tone of Cabin Fever.
It's so memorable, isn't it? Literally the other day I was coming home and I was like, what do you want for breakfast tomorrow? I can make pancakes. And all you wrote back was, pancakes! And like a jujitsu suit thing. I was like, yeah.
And the message was loud and clear. Again, on the commentary, Eli Roth said that he found out from Dennis that he does, he's a black belt in something, and he just wanted to give him the opportunity to show it off. So he says, after this crazy pancake scene, why don't you just show me what we can do, and then he'll put it in slow
Didn't
motion.
he also tell him to just say whatever word came to mind?
Pretty
and he
much.
just came up with pancakes.
Yeah, and genius.
So after he's done his pancakes and slow-mo chops and kicks and stuff,
You can relate to that.
He bites, I can really relate. Pancakes and kung fu. Mm-hmm. He bites Bert on the hand, and his facial expression quickly changes from one of biting to like, ugh. So apparently the disease makes you taste funny.
Normally he likes when he
Biting
bites
people.
people, but not this time.
No, he didn't like this one.
I should also just say for the record, it was this morning that I got said pancakes cooked for me for breakfast. So pancakes. We're now. So the locals now, like Dennis's dad comes out and he's like, "What have you done to my boy?" Mm-hmm. He gets his boys out and he's like, "We've got to stop the disease where it is. They want to get him." So Bert drives away after flipping all the bird. He's heading back to the cabin.
Which is really smart because it's not like they don't know where he's going.
And back in the cabin, after the intimacy, Marcy now gets into the bathtub. And what do ladies do when they bathe? They shave their legs. But normally there's not a flesh-eating virus putting holes into their flesh.
I remember the very first time I watched it, that might have been the point that grossed me out the most.
It is gross.
There's like a sound effect that goes with it as well, that whilst she's shaving the side of her leg and she's clearly peeling off like a layer of her flesh skin thing, and the sound and the visual, and it's not even the first gross thing we see, but that really stuck with me.
The skin coming off during shaving, this is as much of a heathen is this inspired by parts of my real life. Eli Roth once worked, I believe, on an Icelandic or Finnish horse farm. And while he was there,
Would have been Icelandic horse.
he contracted a skin disease, and he was shaving in the mirror, and as he was shaving, his skin was actually coming off of his face. So it's based on a real life experience. Yeah. Yeah.
How
absolutely.
horrifying. Okay.
After she's finished shaving her legs, she's freaking out. She also got marks on her back.
You would be, wouldn't you?
She ends up outside because I believe she's going to see Shed Girl. And as she goes outside, the hungry dog comes along, and he's vicious. He gets a hold of her and he tears her apart. And
we notice this as well. I think it's when the locals with the guns who are chasing Bert down come, and you see like her severed foot just laying close to the campfire. So you're like, okay.
No, I think it's when Paul comes along, and like Paul's lost it now because he's now fallen into the water after like poking that dead body.
Oh yeah, he sees the body, and I guess he realizes why everyone's been getting sick.
Yeah, because he literally starts running through the woods saying, "Jeff, it's the water!" He's fallen into it. He's done for anyway, and he comes to keep.
I don't really understand why he was poking it.
No, neither do I. But again, it's just
poke
it's a horror movie. I'm gonna poke this floating dead body in a reservoir and fall in. Obviously,
yeah.
As he makes his way back to the cabin area, he's one that comes across Marcy's mangled body, and as he gets into the shed for one last time, kind of reveals herself, and her teeth are all exposed.
Yeah, the dog is now feasting on her, but she's clearly she's dead. She's gone.
Yeah, so he caves her face in.
Yeah, okay, so I guess she is still alive then. He's trying to save her from
you see that she's
suffering.
alive when she turns around, and he's like, oh, enough of this. I'm not going to waste any bullets because I've got people coming, so I'm just going to cave your head in. And it's really nice when they pan out, and it goes from, natural colour of the woods to then this sound, and the cabin goes into dark red and stuff like this. It's reached
effective.
The bottom of where it's going. It's reached rock bottom, this situation kind of thing.
And then we get this whole just mass death scene essentially, because the locals show up, and Bert is there. Bert
sacrifices himself for Paul.
Well, Bert is sat there and he's planning on taking some of them out, but they shoot him because he's got to get his snide remark in first, doesn't he? And then Paul offs them, and then one of them offs the other one.
Paul hits the guy who opens the door with like a shovel or something like this. He falls back. One of the locals shoots the other one by accident in the stomach, and it's then when Paul then comes out, he gets a screwdriver and puts it in the side of one of the guy's ear, which is also quite effective with the sound and the way it's done. Quite understated, but yeah, so it's
nice
basically
a bloodbath. And then Paul is clearly starting to get sick as well, and he's also just covered in all of these people's blood, and he's driven or wandered off. He's walked off.
First of all, he comes across Grimm first in a little cave. Eli Roth's character, who's been torn apart in the middle, and then he gets in the truck. But as he's driving, he drives into a deer, and we get the.
Oh, that bit. That's so silly.
The deer's hooves kicking in the windscreen, and then finally Paul comes across Winston. Deputy Winston, and what's he doing? He's completely forgotten to call the tow truck because he's found a party, man, an underage party, and this time he is not shutting it down.
And he's shining on the girl.
Winston's
trying to get lucky.
Winston sees Paul come. He's like, "Where have you been, man? What the fuck happened to you?"
And he doesn't even recognize him at first, and he's like, "Oh wait, it's the
fucking party man. Hey, man.
Do you need a ride?"
I completely forgot about the tow truck.
No, he didn't forget, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then
harmonica
he gets
death
over like the radio thing. He gets told that there's like all this stuff going down at the cabin, and all officers should shoot on sight. So that obviously includes Paul. And Winston is like, "I can't, man." But the hippies who he's partying with
They were playing some weird crap music.
Try and
when
take
they
him
get
out
there.
with a guitar, which fails. And then, yeah, one of them, as you said, chokes on his harmonica.
He gets hit on the head with a guitar, and his harmonica goes down his throat. And again, nice piece of practical effect there.
Some more deaths, you know. And by the end of it, Paul knocks Winston out
Party's over, Winston.
to, I guess... Well, I thought he was doing it so that he could take Winston's car, but he doesn't take Winston's car, does he?
I just think he doesn't want to kill Winston because he's already had interaction with Winston. He knows Winston is a cool guy.
Left, though.
You know, I'm already doing this. So now Paul is in hospital. He's passed out, and as he's in the hospital, he's being transported through on a gurney, and he's looking into separate rooms. And there's a part where there's this weird guy in a bunny suit, and I think he's overseeing Dennis, and the bunny guy is feeding him pancakes. Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. After we see Paul, he gets interrogated by the cops, by the sheriff department in the hospital, and he kind of breaks down. He lets out slightly what's been going on. And then we shoot back to the cabin area, and it's Jeff. Jeff crawls out of his ditch after drinking his 2 6-packs. He's survived the night.
Yeah,
he makes his way
goes
back to the cabin, and he gets in, and he sees all the death and destruction and the blood everywhere, and he's starting to realise, I made it. I fucking made it. You know, he's really made it, and he gets outside, and he's super happy. I made it, but that's the end of Jeff. He gets blown away by the sheriff's department that have shown up to burn all the bodies.
Well, because they've also mentioned whilst Paul's in hospital that they can't control or cure this disease thing, whatever. They don't really know what it is. So,
They
so
can't
basically,
isolate it.
They just want to get rid of all of the infected people, and they chuck them on the campfire and burn them up. And we also we get Winston, who's, according to the hospital, transporting Paul to another hospital where they might be more equipped to handle it.
Hey, it's a party man.
But is that really what's happening?
No.
Because we then later see at this bonfire thing, Winston turns up and the captain of police is like, so did you deal with the other guy? Yeah. And what do we see right towards the end?
A body laying in the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, Winston, in his carelessness, has contaminated the natural water source as well as the reservoir already being, kaput. So Winston's carelessness is now because we see 2 kids who are collecting water from the stream with the water boy style NFL giant water buckets. Yeah.
Making lemonade, which then the police start drinking. And then we also see, the reservoir water being taken off to be bottled and sold across the country. So basically we end the movie knowing that the entire country is going to get infected.
Also, we neglected to mention that when Paul comes across the underage party, which Deputy Winston is at, when all the chaos happens and, people are dying and the guy chokes on his own harmonica and stuff like that, Winston is not really concerned. It's more like, you fucking idiot.
Ruined the party.
You fucking ruined the party, man. He doesn't give a damn about anything but the party. That's how you stick with the character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Winston's carelessness, and it's then after this that we get the big payoff of the joke. The Santa Claus joke when his 3 friends turn up to collect their rifle.
Look, I cleaned it right nice for you.
And then we just have a weird banjo scene of all the cast. Just having a banjo off.
But we know they're all going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I did find it a bit
we see
strange.
the water trucks, leaving the convenience store to get taken into town. Yeah.
As I said, but I did find it a bit weird. I was like, wait, is this where our water's coming from? Because even if there wasn't a dead body in there, there's all this plant life and stuff, and I was like, I don't think I'd want to drink that anyway.
I'll say about this movie in closing, the acting and the characters, both really well done. Film was shot beautifully as well. It looks really good. Yeah, the effects wise,
makeup effects.
K&B Effects Group, who
Fantastic.
are the kings of what they do. I'd also, there's a simple and effective score donated by the one and only Angelo Badalamenti, who did the score for Twin Peaks. David Lynch was also attached as an exec producer at one point, but went off to just basically he's not credited, but he had a lot to do with the movie because Eli Roth used to work for him essentially. And I'd also mention lastly that Giuseppe Andrews, Winston, he's just been off the grid / missing since 2015. Just no one knows where he is. He made a bunch of weird short movies. If you look up what they're about, it's quite baffling. But yeah, he's just gone. He's off the grid. No one knows his whereabouts. And if he is about, he should make a comeback because his performance in acting is just incredible. So Cabin Fever's a 10 out of 10 movie.
How about Cabin Fever 2?
There's already been a Cabin Fever 2.
Oh, really?
It really sucked.
Was it with the same people involved?
No, everyone's dead. But
I mean like Eli Roth, etc.
No, the guy that directed
Oh, wow.
it. I don't know if Eli Roth was it anything to do with being a producer or stuff like that. But it's directed by the guy whose name is currently escaping me, who I've seen all of his movies until he hit the big time with that movie X and Pearl and Maxine.
Yeah, I know.
And I've always just couldn't stand any of his movies, could I? And now all of a sudden he's hit the big time. And so I watched Cabin Fever 2. I thought it really sucked. There's also been a remake about 12 years after the original. They've released the remake, which also really sucks. There's also a third one called Patient Zero, which I haven't seen.
In what world do you need to remake that movie? That hasn't aged in the slightest.
That was with Eli Roth behind it as well. Again, not
That's
as
so
director,
bizarre.
but he got the whole thing in motion. Maybe it was like satire. Like, here, I'm going to remake my own movie within, like, just over a decade.
Well, anyway, I'm sure people have a lot of thoughts.
This is not a wildly popular movie, by the way.
I'm sure people have a lot of thoughts about
It should be.
a lot of things we've said. I'm not just talking Cabin Fever, I'm talking about the whole episode now. And yes, feel free to tell me all the reasons I'm wrong in the comments. Comments are always good. We won't censor them. And, subscribe, please. Thanks.
Well, that sounds desperate.